It's approximately 28 minutes past 9 right here in London, England. Remember, the Upper Live show is sponsored by Shush Print, Vast Prints, also by World Mag Entertainment. Alright, so if you want to get involved with the show, all you have to do is follow us on all social media. That's Upper Live show. You can go into our inbox, Instagram, Facebook, or you can find us on YouTube, the hotspot. Remember, you need to comment on the videos, alright? Comment, like, and share. Each and every week we bring to you the best and the best, and this week, like no other, we bring you the hottest producer right now, and he's not from Jamaica. He is from Jamaica, but he's residing here in the UK. Epic Jones, welcome to the show, sir.
Bless up, good evening.
Yes, Mr. Epic. First of all, explain the name Epic for me. What's that?
Well, the name Epic, you know, it started from my elder brother. You know, he had a sound system in America at the time, Poughkeepsie, and you know, I was playing in Jamaica as a DJ, as a computer sound DJ, which was unknown then, and I had a follow to the DJ. Yeah, I had a follow to the DJ then. And instead of starting over a brand new thing, my brother was like, yo, we already have some dub, sound name Epic. Just continue the movement in Jamaica. Okay. So I continued it in Jamaica and then forward to UK, and you don't know, as I say, Epic, entertaining people, increasing knowledge, you know. He came up with the meaning for that because I had my reservations, you know, in that a record label out there by the name of Epic, but spelled different. So, yeah, that's how the name come about, and we just try to keep the music same way.
That was good. But for those of you who don't know who you are, could you just quickly give me a little quick rundown about yourself?
Well, as Spraga ventured, I say Google me, but, you know... Big up Spraga. You know, for me, really and truly, it started from, is a youth where born here in UK, went to Jamaica, age 7. So my journey kind of different from most of those with Jamaican background, you know. A lot start the journey in Jamaica and look for better passes. Yeah, man, I was born in Brent, right? So Brent originally my borough. When you hear Big Zeeks and Gapper Ranks and all of them making claim to that, you know. Brenta originally my place.
So you're born in UK.
Born in UK, I want to tell you this.
Forward at Jamaica.
Forward
back over here.
And supposedly tell you, a minute away from where I grew up in the UK is where Shawnee B live. And I only found out that when I was doing an interview with Morgan Heritage, I had to go to the studio. And I was like, whoa, I just live around the corner. Chrissy in that church around the side. He said, no way. And when I showed him some pictures, he was his friend. So born in the UK. Grew up in Jamaica, St. Thomas. Yeah. And from St. Thomas, you know, went to one of the elite schools in Jamaica, Kingston College. Yeah. You know, and from KC, you know, the music thing, you know, there's a lot of people from my age group that did the music. So you have people like Rodelf, you know, he used to go by the name Terror 3000. You have Earl Throwback that does a few productions, you know, RDX Road Manager. Yeah. You have Raz and Biggie, yeah man, KC Youth them. Ikel Marvelous, I used to be his prefect at Kingston College on Team Sheller.
I see a bright boy.
Yeah man, so, you know, there's a lot of music we kind of flow during that whole era of me going to school and things. So
you're involved in the music from
there, so, but also, you know, a lot of people who know me from KC days know me as a cricketer as well. You know?
You play cricket too?
Yeah, man. Former West Indies and Jamaica youth player, man.
So what are you got in a full white?
Yeah, man. I mean, I played with some of the players that, you know, Dre Ross, Andre Russell, where a lot of people know. I play against Chris Gale because we used to play for rival cricket clubs. Yeah. Wave Lines, I played with them people. So the late Larry Williams, Robert Taines, I played with some of the top West Indies farmer players and club players.
Yeah, old.
Not really old, but I started young. I was playing club cricket from age 12, which I think I still have the record in Jamaica as the youngest, you know, senior pro player at age 12 for Kensington, you know, and that team had a lot of Jamaican West Indies players, you know, so.
Yeah, if you go on well for this.
Yeah, did I go on well, as they would say, early peaker, but then, you know, a lot of them that see me now. The other day, Chris Gale see me, I was at Sean Paul tour.
Not mean to move off the whole Epic music group, but what type of cricketer were you? Was you a batsman?
A leg spinner, yeah, I used to bowl leg spin, you know. They used to call me Black Shane One, you know, because, you know, leg spin kind of made famous from his, you know, his kind of thing, so.
That makes sense.
Yeah. I mean, Chris Gale see me the other day, I mean, like 2 weeks ago, Sean Paul tour, and the man said, boy, you're trading leg spin for music. But then, You know, after him see the performance, him say, boy, you're bad still, so.
Yeah.
You know, good look move.
To be honest, like at age 12, at that age, and know anybody know Epic know he's a very short guy. So
yeah, man, age 12 will even shorter.
3 foot nothing.
Yo, it was even worse then. I mean, I used to have to go out there and bat in wicket keeper pads them time. There it was that short, you know.
Yeah.
You know the keeper pads supposed to well, yeah, man.
Smile. So
yeah, man.
you first indulged in music now, because I know you became a DJ at a tender age.
Yeah, man.
What age did that start? You said it was from your brother.
Yeah, well, I started playing music from about 13, 14, but here the reason now. Just like when I start cricket early, I start school early. So I passed common entrance from age 10.
Okay.
Actually, they have to get permission, you know, from the minute, parents would have to write permission to the Ministry of Education.
But back in the days though, all Jamaica used to run like, if the teacher was feel like you have that knowledge to do common entrance,
man.
You could do common entrance at basically
9, 10, yeah, but then the other aspect they used to be worried about why you used to have to get permission is, you know, we have it in UK here, the social aspect, where them want you for their own, your own age group. So when me start playing music now, the only reason I enter the music thing now, you know, is that, you know, some people say, boy, I love music, I'm a their own music, I'm a grown. No. Thing was, as you said, me short. Me I wonder how me I go get into the club. Now when my brethren them were in the same class at 16 and 17,
they look old,
and them have the beard that grow and everything. Me not have nothing, skin clean like. I mean, I say, how me I go able to can, you know, get into the party vibe? I mean, the only person me say now get search or ask the ID at the DJ. So me say, that my room for getting into the club scene.
Okay.
Yeah, so me just never want to feel left out, and that's why I take up music, and then, yeah, the rest just feel like, you know, you start love it and you start learn it and you realize you have a little talent. So when some people say then take it up because they love it, I take it up because I couldn't get in a club.
Couldn't get in, so it was your skill.
So basically it's a girl thing then, you know.
Yeah, man, the only childhood girl them on the St. Andrew High School and Mergrove, big them up because, yeah, them was the inspiration, you know. You see them go up in the after school champs. Everybody know about champs, you know. If you know about the Jamaica culture, boys and girls champs, and, you know, that was the only time schoolers could have get in a certain club and thing. But even if it is still kind of look young, they would have stopped you. But
yeah,
look a leeway there. But 2 years straight, I get black and I said, no, man.
That makes sense. But then you did quite a few big projects with the DJ side, because I see you doing quite a few numbers, and you are officially one of Spice Tour DJs, because I see you on quite a few shows with Spice as well. Talk to me about that union, because you seem to be having a lot of connection with Spice.
Well, that happened from, you know, I have to big up Stacy every time, you know. That happened from my partner that she was best friends with Spice in Jamaica. Okay. And introduced Spice to, you know, Edna Manley, Performing Arts, and Harville Expressions and all that. You know about expression dancers.
Yeah, I know Harville Expressions.
Yeah, so, you know, from that kind of union, you understand, there was one time I was on Flames and, you know, I used to interview artists regular. And I ran out of artist interviews. So one day I said to Stacey, you know, boy, I look some artist interview. Who you think? And she said, oh, me know Spice. Just casually. Yeah. I was like, you know Spice? Seriously? And then she just take out her phone and say, yeah, man, I know her. And I had Spice on Facebook at the time, but you know, you don't really interact with artists like that if you don't know them. So then I said, yo, you know somebody named Stacey? And she said, yeah, man. And she said, there's no way you know her though. You know, cause I haven't heard from her in years. And then, you know, from that phone call, when she called immediately, she asked for my number, she called straight from Jamaica. And me and her talked for a little bit and she talked to Stacey. And then from that, it kind of
the union
seal. Yeah, man, it sealed when we got Jamaica and meet her that same year. And it was Tiff's birthday party, Sugarman Beach. I'm see her. That was little after Jim Screechy. And there was ladies, every artist you can think of, every artist come represent a Tiffa party. And then after that, the following year, Let Out the Donkey. And the rest, as them would say, would be history, you know. Let Out the Donkey, which that was supposed to be a girl song, you know. Yeah. Spice was supposed to give me a nice little song, you know, on the rhythm there. And
but she...
you know, we get a song. But what happened, Maka voice a little song, and then Spice give me a call and say, boy, Epic. You know, so me I I have to answer back Macapaya rhythm. So oh yeah, it's song.
Alright, so let's speak about the elephant in the room now. This rhythm, I don't know the name of it, but you know the big rhythm we're talking about.
Daylight.
Cool it down. Daylight rhythm. Alright. We have the Cyclone and Conscience and the Spice on it.
Yeah, man.
Absolutely a big rhythm. What was the inspiration to get that rhythm in the development stage, I would say?
Well, More Life 2016, same year when they had the Red Bull Culture Clash. After the whole tour had finished, we invite Spice over to Glendevan studio. So I was supposed to, you know, listen to some projects that they had as well as mine. And that rhythm came on, you know, we were going through some rhythms that we have. We played that rhythm and I see her head start bop. She never ended up doing anything on that on the rhythm that night. But she ended up doing the Panda freestyle. If you remember, she did a freestyle and design a rhythm. So she did the Panda freestyle, went to Jamaica, shoot the video. But from that, I said, all right, I need that rhythm and I'm going to target. And this was the original target. Spice, Conscience, Charlie Blacks, RDX, Cyclone, definitely.
Did they get a Charlie Blacks on the rhythm?
No, didn't, you know, but at the end of the day, you know, sometimes it's just not the right time. You know, he's working on an album.
Yeah.
But he definitely say he's gonna record a song for Epic.
Because I feel like that rhythm.
The rhythm fit him.
Yeah, it fit him.
Him no.
It fit him.
Him no.
Because like, you know, what I did their flames and thing.
Yeah.
And you give it that rhythm at that early stage and that rhythm at first.
Yeah, man.
It wasn't grabbing my attention, you know, after 1 or 2 and 3 years.
Because when you hear the Shatawale first and
keep on.
It creep up.
Yeah.
It'll take time I creep up and like every time I hear, because like the first cut that I get, I don't know, it didn't have that fat sound about it. You know that? But like I don't know if I go back in the studio and fatten up something, you turn some key and
you know, you remember the Dual rhythm?
Yeah.
Alright. Every song on the Dual rhythm kind of did have a different mix, right? So, with the Shatawale, the rhythm did have to readjust. Because if you know music still, him kind of give you a 8 bar, then a chorus, then 12 bar. And if you kind of know music, it don't really do that way. There's either 8 or a 16.
Yeah.
So, we have to kind of readjust the rhythm.
Have to tweak it.
Yeah, if you fit Shatta. And him kind of get a straight mix. But then when we get Cyclone now, Cyclone put some clapping in at the rhythm. Actually clapping at the studio.
Well, like make it
make it clap. So that get a different mix. Then Spice now.
Spice come with everything.
Spice come with a 12 bar chorus. Like you never hear about a chorus normally is a 4 bar or 8 bar.
4 or 8, yeah.
And she come with a 12 bar chorus where not never get repeated really. So then the rhythm have to readjust again and get a different bounce. And you know, we have to big up the engineer them. We had Rocky work on the Shatawale track and the Make It Clap and Make It Clap the Aishana as well, 10 pound and Spice Cool. It was Chris David, you know, Nocturnal Sounds, you know, a youth were usually doing groundwork with Payday. And if you know about Payday, you know, say the history of Bounty Killer, the Dexter Daps and all of that. So it's a youth were work with some of the best artists them as an engineer, and he was a genius to me.
How many projects you had before? How many projects you did in total? Because I see you racking up, you're stacking up.
Well, we have a lot of projects where some of them would even drop as a project yet, but 1 and 2 single come out there. So we have the Cool Breeze, which you hear with Razor B, Live My Life. Cyclone had a song, The Party with Kim Kelly and that. That was featured on his last album that hit the billboards. We have
the billboards, because I see you do things that
No. The song with which one? The Razor B song.
Live My Life.
Live My Life. That was absolutely a good song as well. But I think the breakaway will make people start focus on what Epic's doing is the Big Spice song.
Cool It.
Cool It. Because like when that song play, every girl get mad.
Yeah, man.
It definitely creep up, and it definitely has its place right now as one of the number 1 trending song on the female juggling part. You know, you're definitely gonna hear it. Once you hear the girl segment, you know, say somewhere along the line.
Somewhere there.
You're
gonna hear the shaker.
And it surprised me that it's managed to captivate, especially because right now me and Dragon have this conversation. All the hit songs them is between the BPM range are between the 90 to 98.
At the moment.
I tell you this, we kind of change it, you know. Just like how you said that, I heard that and I said we need to change it because I saw the Afrobeat movement, as you know, this rhythm I tell you from 2016. And I saw the Afrobeat movement and I said, we need something we kind of merge Afrobeat sound with dancehall vibes. I didn't want no melody. The rhythm all the rhythms had too much melody at the time, and I said I want something with those drum, bass, and kick. You understand? And with the Cool It rhythm, you know, everybody call it the Cool It rhythm, the Daylight rhythm. We just thought about giving people that, and I knew it was gonna take time because all the BPMs, as I said, was a bit slower. But one of the greatest things is, if I've always been kind of a leader and an innovator in a way that even when I was using computer to DJ, everybody was making transition to vinyl to CDs. And I was using computers from Jamaica. I come to UK where you would think it was more advanced, and I was still ahead at the time. It takes time to people catch up sometime, but if you believe in your work, people will catch up. And if you check it, Shenseea Bless 108 BPM. The gauge we mix with Cool It, a lot of people good to get things.
Or something like that. So
all of the juggling them kind of catch up and start move up to them tempo if we fit in with the juggling.
As what I'm saying is like you have a certain specific BPM range where you get, if your song is not really in that kind of section, you get skip out of that.
You get skip out because your song are for bad.
If you don't really have a hit song where really makes sense, it's not going to feature in the juggling. So I say when I say for a smart thing to do for a lot of people, they would normally voice them song and some reason we're between 90 to 100, and I would say 5.
103,
that's a sweet spot.
That is a sweet spot. I'll tell you what we're gonna do right now. It's approximately 9:45, and what we do at 9:45 each and every week, we have the plug. All right, so we have Epic Jones here, the big man behind the Epic Music Group, and we're gonna be having him for a little extended interview right here. So right now, what we're gonna do. Epic, can you just give us some social media how we can find you? Because we're going to be continue talking, but for this segment, I just want to people get your socials.
All right, Epic Jones, and that's with a K, so it's EPIK JONES, and it's Epic Jones across all social media platforms, and also the record label is Epic Music Group, and that is EPIK MUSIC GROUP.
Okay, simple as that. All right, don't move a muscle, stick and stay. We're going to be talking to Epic Jones back in a couple of minutes, but right now 9:45 each and every Tuesday. You know what happened right here, the plug. We take songs in and around the community of our urban music, some from far, some from right here with us in the UK, and we put them right here live with DJ Dragon picks of the week. So if you want to get involved in the plug, all you have to do is just email the music to upanliveshow@gmail.com. Inbox us on Facebook, Instagram, anything.